Well, good afternoon. July 17th. It's a Thursday. Working on all kinds of stuff lately. Another mess. Another project. I acquired more batteries. My brother-in-law traded out the 8 volts on his golf cart for a lithium. Good for me. They've got a little bit of use on them. I think he had them for 2 years. But, they were maintained and everything like that. They weren't low on water. So I didn't even test them yet. I opened the caps to confirm that they are all at the good safe water level, but I didn't test chemistry yet. I didn't test volts on anything yet. I did just kind of check my table to see if they're going to fit and how. And so this is going to end up being a really involved project. First things first, I'm going to do some testing. And right off the bat, I got an issue. The wing nut that they threw on there was a cheap wing nut. It rusted itself on, and I don't want to wreck the stud from the inside. It already started to turn it just a tiny bit, so I stopped. I put some blaster on there. I warmed it up a little bit, but I didn't want to push my luck. So I'm cutting that off. I'm going to just graze the side and get close to the threads but not hit them. And then I got a chisel where I can just split that the rest of the way and unwrap that, and as soon as I do that, it will let go. And then I can hook up the first 3. He brought me the first 3. I got 3 more coming, so another 6. So it'll just match these 6 and be the same, basically. And it'll add, in theory, 30% more capacity to the existing system. This should bring me up to about 1200 amp hour at 24 volts. So I'm gonna have a lot of juice to play with. If they all test out good and this all works out, I'm gonna have a lot of juice to play with. Once I have full, again, in theory, if they all work out and this is all equalized together, and I get them rehabbed and happy and stuff, like, I'm gonna have like a week I can go without seeing the sun or any wind and still be pretty close to in the green. Like, as we sit, we're good for a while. If we don't get any energy, if we don't harvest anything for a couple of days, we're fine. We don't even have to go into conservative mode, turning fridges and freezers off. I run the dishwasher. We run whatever we want, pretty much whenever we want. So this is just going to make that more comfortable. It'll buy us more time in the winter. Yes, it's more to charge, but once we're all the way equalized, we're not going to be like drawing. That just means that we're drawing less and less and less, that much more less, 30% less from each individual battery. These things are never going to cycle anymore unless I do it on purpose, basically. So I'm going to get a lot of life out of all these batteries. I got so many people giving me shit. Oh, go to lithium. Like, man, no, you just got to take care of your batteries. Every battery's got a cycle limit. Don't cycle them. Don't let them cycle. Cycle them when on purpose from time to time, just to make sure they're not sulfuriating. But yeah, anyways, so they're not going to fit on this table, and that's way already too much weight. That's why I've got literally jacks in the middle of it, keeping it from caving in. I'm gonna build a new table. I got some real heavy duty lumber outside, and to not have to redo a bunch of wires and not have this be 6 feet wide, we're gonna go lower, quite a bit lower. My legs will be 18 inches. And that'll bring the tops of these batteries down to about here, and then slide this in tighter to the wall so it'll clear that big pipe, and there'll be a good foot between the tops of the batteries and that big pipe, which will allow me plenty of room to be able to get my bottles of the distilled water in and service all of my cells. I was thinking about doing a shelf system with the 3 different sets. I don't want to do that because it will make servicing a nightmare. I like having them laid out, and you know, because I will periodically go through and open all the caps, shine a light in there, and you know, just inspect it all. And I want to keep that serviceability. And if I go down and in, I don't have to change anything with wire length. These are all perfect, equal wire length. I can shift the whole thing over a little bit, so these ones will be more center with my bus bars, and then I don't know, it'll work out real good. And these guys will go off this way or whatever. I can put center those and put the 8s on the 2 sides. It doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. It will work out. I already pulled it with the tape and everything, and I got, like I said, real heavy duty stuff. So tomorrow this is all going to get torn apart. And I'll probably set them on the ground over here and just run a jumper cable, you know, I'll from the bus bars, and I can keep power coming in, and you know, so I'm not doing this in the dark. It will take a little bit to build table and stuff, so I'm gonna have to disassemble it, power down for a bit, and take them off one by one. And then I can, I don't know, maybe we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll just build the damn table under a flashlight or generator power or something like that and put it back together. Save some fiddling around. Well, we'll see. But then, yeah, I'm going to make a little bit wider table to fit all of them. And I'll be able to at least get these 3 on. And, again, if they test good. I planned on adding some anyways. I didn't count on this. But now I don't have to spend money on it, in theory, again. So, first things first, let's get that off. Get my first 3 the series made and test what they are standing, and make sure each battery is safe to hook up. And if they're safe, I'm just going to use the jumper cables where they sit and tie them into the bus bars and get some volts going into them before the sun goes down. It's about 5 o'clock right now, so we still got a couple hours light. There's still decent power coming in. I mean, the batteries have already charged and floated down, but there's still 15 amps coming in. And if I connect these guys and they make it dip, the solar controller will allow more power to come in. So while I can, let's get a little bit of juice going in these. All right, I'm gonna get that nut off and get them hooked up and see what happens here. Okay. Just gotta reconnect it all. I got the came off easy enough. Didn't get any sparks in my eye. Let's see what we got. Juice. I have no idea when the last time these were charged was. So let's see what we see here. That's pretty low. are both at 3.5. That one's at 8. That is not very happy. So I'm going to feed some power to it for a couple minutes and then take it back off and see if these will hold. We're just going to do this the manual way since the automatic smart charger will read that and not know what to do with it. So okay, we're hooked up to the main bus. Just kind of never been spread that far. Taking it. So 26. And so that's going to be quite a bit of amps in there pretty quick. Trying to equalize it. It'll be a quick rush of amps. To equalize those volts. So hopefully that's enough to kind of stir these up, get the fluid moving a little bit inside of there. I should be able to know pretty quick if these are junk or not. I mean, yes, they're definitely gonna need some maintenance, but yeah, we'll see. Sounds like the wife is volunteering me for some more work, more unpaid work. She doesn't usually talk to her friends about alternators. 20? That's promising. It didn't go instantly back down. Yep, it was up to 6. That's twice what it was at. This one should be about the same. Yep. So, alright, I'm going to leave them be for some time and come check on them in some time. And hopefully they hold for a little bit. We'll see what we see. Okay, quick update. I put them, I know this is goofy, whatever. I'm running the charger off the house system, which is pulling from these batteries, which it's got a repair mode in it, which boosts the voltage up to 28, lets it dip, and before it gets to dangerously low, it'll let it dip back down to 23 or 22.5 or something, and back up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And what that does is that gets the fluid moving. See them bubbles? So that is going to slowly put some life back into these things. Very slowly. It's not a lot of amps. It's just putting voltage back into them. Trying to put some life back, you know, spark the electrolyte. I'm definitely gonna have to spend some time rehabbing these. Let this run for a good while this evening. And maybe when the sun is all the way down and we don't have power coming in, she's still bright, see? But maybe I'll see if it'll at least hold, you know, something. Hold in the above 22, I would be happy with. You know, that would mean that all of my 2-volt cells are still 2-volt cells. I don't have dead grounds. We'll see. I really hope. I mean, if that is a no-go, then we're going to go ahead and order up. Well, I'm probably going to order up some electrolyte anyways. That stuff that I put in all these guys that rehabbed them definitely did something. So I'm going to get some of that on order and some new electrolyte. I should be able to get that locally. And dump the old fluid, wash them out. I can rinse them with a Epsom salt solution. The magnesium sulfate will dissolve any bad stuff on the plates, but I have to have the new fluid before I do that, so I'm not just letting the lead plates dry out. So that's happening one way or the other. But while I got them and until I get the new electrolyte, I'm going to see what I can do with them. So stay tuned. This might be a project that, you know, there's probably going to be multiple updates. So this is only the first 3. So I'll probably cut the video off when I check back the next time. We'll see if they're holding something, if they are in fact still 8-volt batteries, and if they're not, you know, what most people would consider ruined. I'm starting to think they were not well maintained. He probably ran them way too low and then left them dead. So we'll see. Okay, stay tuned. All right, let's so it is fluctuating higher now. I don't see it going below 23.8. They're definitely gassing. All right, 24.4 and holding. No, 24.3. That's a really good sign. That's awesome. Okay. So I'm going to put this back on since this is just going to charge him. Now it's climbing really fast. Automatic. Oh, George wants to come in. 26. Nice. Oh, it's climbing the way it should. It climbed fast for the first second and then settled back down like a normal battery would. .46. Two of these cells were overfilled with water, so there's air getting trapped. It was burping, trying to get the air out. Yeah, that's really good. That's a really good sign. If it would have just shot right up to 28, 29, and this would have shut off and said full, that would tell me that there's dead shorted cells, that they're not taking any amps. But the fact that it's taking amps and climbing slowly, there's still some hope left. I think they're going to be all right. I'm still going to get that electrolyte and boost these things back, or the additive at the very least. I think they're going to be okay. They're charging normally now. Just running it on repair for that 3 hours. Did something. These little Chinese smart chargers are pretty sweet. I'll bring it in here and show you that. If you're interested in something cool like that. Ooh. I think it was $60 on Amazon. The digital readout is not correct. It is not putting 15.1 amps into the system right now. I guarantee you. It's probably more like 9. It puts out about 200 watts at 24 volts. I think it does better than that at 12. But yeah. Lots of gassing going on in all the cells. We're gonna be okay. These are gonna be just fine. You know, I'm gonna give them some time, but they will come back. So awesome. Like I said, this is gonna be a multi-part deal. Getting the table, this all ripped apart, the new table built, the other 3 of these guys, and getting it all tied in. I'll make equal length wires so it's all balanced. But I'm excited. Yeah, we're adding to the system, adding capacity, and that's, you know, when you're on stored power, man, capacity is where it's at. But it's not just batteries, you also have to be able to charge it. So adding batteries, I'm going to have to balance this back out by adding solar. I had already planned on doing this, so I'm not, you know, it's a blessing. I got the batteries for the low price of free $99. So all I gotta buy is some panels, and I don't know. We'll tackle that bridge when we get to it. This charge controller is maxed out, so I either buy a second one and pair them, because these have the capability of being synced. You can hook them up with a data cable and sync them, or I get a 100 ampere that can take quite a bit more. I don't know. The price is better if I just get another 60 ampere and sync them, and that gives me 120 amps. But then I also am going to need another piece of wire coming in from the array, and then divide up the panels and balance the panels. So it's all, you know, it's a give and take, man. I got one piece of wire coming in. I could run that one piece of wire to a bigger controller, or save the money on the controller, get another one of these, pair them, and I'm gonna have to balance the panels. I don't know. Guess I'm gonna have to think about that. I'm gonna have to weigh the pros and cons. Do I want to dig another trench in the damn dirt and bury another cable, or spend twice the price on a bigger controller? Because if I'm adding capacity, I have to add charging to keep everything balanced. So anyways, exciting stuff coming down the pipeline. We are finally playing with this again. It's been a while. Life got busy, life got chaotic, but we're back to it. So alright, thanks for watching. God bless you. Well, good morning. Sun's out. It is July 18th. The new batteries, the first 3 are in the basement charging. I think batteries are up to 27 or so. Probably going to start climbing real fast because the sun's coming around. They're doing fine. They're all bubbling. Fluid's moving around. They're coming back to life. I can take the power off and they hold. So today they're going to actually get a chance to build some amps and add to my existing battery bank. Everything that all the power that they got yesterday came out of the bank. Today they're going to add to it. So capacity is going up as we speak, and that is friggin' exciting. I'm excited to get the other 3 and get them rehabbed as well. Well, we're doing lots of projects today, gardening stuff, all kinds of stuff. But for now, I'm building the table. So she's upside down right now. I'm just getting everything lined up, pulled to distance and square and stuff. But got these nice heavy cedar blocks. They're a real 2x10. Not like that 2x10. That's like 1.5 by 9 1/4 or something. So these are nice and stout. I'm gonna build her like so, with that guy in the middle there, and pile some big heavy duty log screws that, well, I'll bury that into there, you know, as deep as I can go, and that's biting all the way through. I think I've got some 14 inchers. This is a 12 incher. That'll go through even further. Get a couple of them going all the way through, and then we'll do 2x10 on top of that as well. We'll flip it upside down and do, yeah, the 2x10 on top of that, and maybe some kind of edging. I don't know, we'll play around with my materials once this is all together and square and perfect. And then when I get her down in the basement, I'll just have to use shims because that floor is very imperfect. I thought about building it to the floor, but that's going to be such a screw around. So I'll just build it square and perfect, and then shim it to the floor so my batteries can sit level, because you know, if those things are sitting out of level, that fluid, you know, your water is sitting in there out of level, and believe it or not, that will change the way they charge and gas and move around. You'll have unbalanced cells with the water sitting in there crooked, and if you let that water get low, you know, forget to check it and top it off, you might have part of your lead sticking out, you know, with exposed air to the lead, and that's not good for them. So I want this thing to be true and level, and stout. You know, that's a lot of weight in batteries. That's close to 1,500 pounds in batteries, give or take, plus or minus. So I want her to be able to take it. It should be able to do that, no problem. You know, it's 72 inches wide. All that weight is going to be on green treated 2x10, with all, you know, heavy duty. I got the log screws to brace the legs together, and then I got 4-inch exteriors to pin down everything, and then flatten it down to my center beam. So she'll be a good table. This really isn't anything too darn exciting. I just thought I'd show it quick before I get too far. Then I'll get her down into the basement. Before it gets too heavy, I might just pin it together like now, and I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I do want it to get true and stay true, so maybe building it on the foam, where yeah, I'll probably do that all out here and then just muscle it downstairs. So we'll check back when the table is downstairs and I'm starting to disassemble the batteries and get them relocated, and we'll see how that's all going to clear and play out with wire length. I have extra wire, but all those leads are made, and I really don't want to change any of that. It's all equal length and perfect right now, so I'm really hoping that this will snug up tight to the wall, and just because of the different orientation, I won't have to change any wire length. So, all right, check back in a bit. All right, we're getting somewhere. Looks like a table. This piece was a little bit short, but it's still overlapping half of my, you know, big block there, so hell with it. Is what it is. What are you gonna do, bubs? You know, way of the road. I got 2x12, 2x10, 2x12 overlaps the center beam. This guy does not. So to help with support there, I took the cutoff from one of these blocks, made a 45, real big heavy duty 45, and pinned that in with a bunch of 4-inch construction screws, and then I'm gonna run these big log screws into there and help create a little support. Hopefully I can drive these in and get them to bite as much as possible. You know, it doesn't take much for these to start sucking their way in. And this will be absolutely rock solid. You'll be able to park your truck on that when I got them guys in there. So she'll hold up my batteries, no problemo. Overall height of the table should be 17.5. Shadow, whatever, 17.5. So right about where I wanted to be. I just had to make things work the way they worked with the length of material I had. The batteries will fit exactly on there from edge to edge with a 1/2 inch gap in between the 3 sets of batteries to allow for you know, just a little bit of space in between them, just in case any of the cabling needs to go in between, whatever. I didn't want all of them jammed tight. I could if I wanted, I guess, but at least that'll divide the load out. And I'm thinking I'm gonna go with that second idea I had, where the 6 volters are going to go in the middle, and then the 2 sets of 8 volters on the outside, and whatever. Just cause I'm freaking OCD and I want things symmetrical. But all right, I'm gonna drive these guys in, and she's going downstairs. There's really, I guess I could give it a quick finish. It looks like there's already some waste oil spilled on this, so maybe I'll give it a quick waste oil treatment on the whole thing. I'll wipe off this dirt. I don't think I'm gonna sand it. Maybe I got some 60 or 80 grit laying around. I'll give her a real quick, super quick once over. Like, I really don't care what it looks like, but when I fill the batteries, when I top off all the cells, I do spray that aerosol battery cleaner. You know, once all the caps are closed back up, I'll spray that over the whole thing, and then just pour clean water over the whole bank and let them rinse off and then drip onto the ground. So instead of, you know, whatever solvents and water soaking in, warping, wrecking my boards here, any acid, you know, I'll give it a real quick waste oil treatment, and then that stuff will just roll off and never soak in, never be a problem. Okay, we'll see you downstairs. Yep, I bet you were thinking just a second ago that I'm crazy. Waste oil. Yep, that came out of the wife's 98 Jeep Wrangler. Had about 10,000 miles on this oil. The darker and stinkier the better. How about that? Got the ends. Well, she's all sealed up. And I even blended in that splotch as it soaks in. I'm gonna leave this in the sun. You know, we're at high noon. There's zero good justification for me to take apart the batteries right now. We got max power coming in right now. I'm gonna let them charge and let the sun do its magic on this. It'll draw that oil in and make it most effective. You know, if there was any moisture in this thing, it'll be able to dry out. I didn't seal the underside, so that'll be able to dry out out the ends and out the unsealed sides, and let the heat soak into it. The sun will push any moisture out of it. It'll dry and clench onto all these screws, you know, because wood shrinks a little bit when it dries. This was all just laying in the grass, so all of it had a little bit of moisture in it. So we're gonna let her dry and let the batteries charge, and we'll get this moved in and batteries transferred onto the new table this evening. While I'm doing that, I'll power the house up with the backup generator, so the family's got lights, and then I don't have to rush. You know, I was thinking about it, and I don't want to have to rush. I want to take my time, and I'll get everything correct. So, okay, we will check back a little later. Alright then. Closing in on 8 o'clock. Sun is going down. I got the house switched over to generator power, so inverter's off. Batteries settled down to 25.5, 25.6. So let's disconnect these from the system. Kick this guy in. These bubbled all day. Definitely got the fluid moving around. I wonder how I'll be able to do this one-handed. There we go. Nice, dude. Oh, yeah. We're good. And she's just hanging. It only dipped 1/10 of a volt, and it's just staying. Oh, they're still at 25.6. All right, so is that in the meter? Let's just test for kicks. Because every meter's a little different. Oops. Well, it's not the meter. Okay. That is something, you know, that is always worthwhile checking. Especially with digital meters, meter to meter. It's actually really common that there's going to be a little bit of variance in them. Show you right now. This one saying 25.7. This one saying 25.7. This one saying 25.65. And this one's bouncing between 25.5 and 25.6. It just keeps, well, it just went back up to 25.6, but it was just at 25.5. What's this one say? Oh, you stupid. There we go. 25.6. Well, so they're going to all be close, but being plus or minus a 1/10 or so is pretty normal. So if you ever see that, don't freak out. A lot of times it's just your damn meter. You can always test the tester. But yeah, they're holding. Let's check again. Pinch you. Stay. Oh, come on. Stay. So she's settling down a little bit. That's still okay though, you know, because when I got these yesterday, they're pretty rough. They're pretty rough. So it is going to be some, I'm not just going to expect that one day of charging and, you know, 3 hours on the repair function is going to bring them back to, you know, good spec batteries. I am going to put the additive in it, and I'm going to continue to just take utmost care of these. The fluid levels on the cells are all off. They're, I'm probably going to turn my dump load controller just off and let these hit max voltage for a couple of days in a row and try and boil some of that fluid down, and then I've got a beaker and I can draw liquid out of it and even them out, get them all, and I'll disconnect the power, let the fluid cool down because it expands when it warms up. So when there's power going into it, it expands, and it'll start to, the little ports You can kind of see that little cylinder, that little port to fill it, and they're all actually still expanded, so it'll take a while for that to go back down to below that. Yeah, these are all over full, and these ones are a little low. So out the test chemistry in every single cell, maybe I can pull some from that one and put it over here. That's generally not a good idea. I'll probably just try to boil them down and add distilled water where needed. Anyways, they're good enough to move forward with. So our table is downstairs. This is going to start coming apart. So this can disconnect all my leads and pull these apart. I'm going to have to cut power from the turbine, cut power from the solar panel, so the controllers aren't getting fed power from outside while they're disconnected to the batteries, because that can destroy them, and they're not cheap. I don't want to destroy them. So now you can see zeros. There's nothing coming in from wind or solar. There was a little bit, not a lot, but there was still something. While I'm in the middle of this, if a bunch of wind picks up, I don't want the turbine feeding that controller while it's disconnected from the battery. That'll wreck them. They need to be grounded to a battery, otherwise you can destroy them. And yeah, basically just this needs to come apart. I shouldn't have to do anything with the bus bars until I'm ready to pair these guys in. So yeah, this will all come off the table. This is getting the hell out of here. Move the new table in, scooter up to the wall. I'm going to level it out, shim it, whatever it needs to be done to get it nice and perfect. Then I can restack my batteries, start putting everything back together, and pull my mains. And then I'll have to run mains for these guys to the bus bars. So yeah, got a little bit of fiddling around to do. I don't think I'll record this all. It's not necessary. So we'll just check back when we're like powered back up by the batteries and all done. Unless there's something to talk about. Probably not. Stay tuned. Good morning. It is now Sunday the 20th. Waited a couple days to finish this off. These guys came yesterday. I had to go through the whole same process. Actually, it was a little bit interesting. This battery came to me with 0 fluid in it. Person that gave them to me thought they would lighten it up. They were loading them into their vehicle, and they thought it would be a little bit lighter if they dumped the fluid out. Well, it's like a quarter of a gallon or a half a gallon that actually goes in these things. It's the lead that makes them heavy, not the liquid. But fortunately, all of them were so overfilled that I took a turkey baster, and you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I, one cell at a time from the other 5 that had fluid, filled up the cells that did not, and it was enough to actually get them all even. So this is the one that was dry. And I put them on the rehab on the charger for a couple hours yesterday. I cleaned them up. I made some new leads, so they are attached to the bank. I did confirm they were holding a charge. I charged them all day yesterday after rehabbing them and stuff, and then disconnected them from power. They held power, and they were absorbing amps the way they should, slow and steady. You know, if you see it climb real fast, you know that your capacity is just toast. They were acting the way they should. I didn't load test them. I wanted to give them a full day's equalize. So right now, the house is running on generator power. I've got the inverter off. 0 draw from DC, and that meter is off because the inverter is off. The house is running off of the backup generator, and then I got that guy plugged in, just adding another 10 amps to the system, while the solar and any wind at all that comes in today is just going straight into the batteries. I adjusted all the controllers. I'm gonna let them equalize. I'm just gonna let it pour everything it can into the batteries. Turned off the dump load. She's just putting amps in the batteries today, and possibly some more power is going into the batteries. We'll see how that turns out. That'll be another video. Yeah, success, man. Yeah, I'll load test them later, but they're gonna stay here. One way or the other, they're gonna stay here. Even if they don't pass a load test today, after I add the additive and keep them on the system charging, you know, properly, probably for the first time in their existence, they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back with long float periods, like I've got this thing set for. You know, and I've got high float voltage. I got my float at like 28 volts or something. It brought all of these back. They'll come back. These are heavy duty, you know, built tough batteries. If I get the chemistry in decent shape, they'll be just fine. So yeah, conservatively, you know, even considering their age and use, this is a 1,000 amp hour bank. If they were all new batteries, 1,200. But she's a 1,000 amp hour bank now at 12 volts. So that's, 24 volts. So that's 24 kilowatt hours, 12 usable. Very safely 12 usable. That's conservative numbers. You know, that's today. Let me put some time into these, and, you know, like I said, very safely. I have 12 kilowatt hours to play with now. So that's awesome. I get 10, 11 out of my solar on a sunny day. I'm pretty much average, you know, even overcast days. So we'll have no problem keeping these afloat because we only use like 3 on average a day. I am going to add more solar, but I want to get up to 2,000 watts. We're going to have to, I got some things to think about with charge controllers. I can either go to a bigger single or go to another one, pair them and sync them, and then I got to split the wires coming in. I don't know. I got some thinking to do on that. There's costs on both options. So anyways, this got way longer than I expected. If you stuck around to the end, I really appreciate you. And those that have watched from the beginning or for years even now, for a while. Again, I apologize many times for my production quality. I don't make a damn penny off of YouTube. That's not why I do this. I don't do this to try and make good content. I do this to try and save people some money. You can take some dump batteries and bring them back. I've done this on a budget. I've got about $7,000 in this whole system, and other than that expense, I haven't paid for energy since 2017, and I'm never going back. The system isn't going to get smaller. It's not going to get taken down for any reason. Like, that'd be silly. The inverters, the charge controllers, there's no moving parts here. The solar panels, there's no moving parts. The only thing that could fail really is the wind turbine, and it makes me so little power I don't even care. That thing's negligible. That was a hobby. But everything in this system I've documented very thoroughly. So if this is something you're interested in, go ahead, take a scroll back, and every single part of this, even just making the cables, I don't buy this stuff. I get it by the spool, and I pull them to length. I measure them, cut them, crimp them. It can be done. It's realistic. You can run a house like normal. We got a deep freezer, a full-size fridge, washer, dryer, dishwasher. My dishwasher's running right now. I fabricate. I'm welding on a regular. It's all normal stuff you can do off grid if you set her up right. But anyways, thanks for watching. God bless you.